NIFE was established in 1992 in India at Cochin. In 1992, when we started a fire and safety training institute in India, it was the first of its type in India. Today, NIFE has around 100 branches all over India and around 20,000 students are sitting in its classrooms. In the last 20 years, we have taught around 2 lakh students who have passed out from here and working in various parts of India and abroad. NIFE's courses has become popular basically because of its practical facility. For practical facility, it has a sprawling practical ground of around 1 acre width at Cochin. Now you can see the practical ground of NIFE at Cochin. It has a spacious 1 acre ground with a building which houses the equipment's room and classrooms required for narration. We've also arranged here transportation facility for bringing the students from various parts of the city. All major equipments required in fire protection, in firefighting and in safety is arranged and equipped at this ground. We have a very good fire alarm system module at the practical ground, as a result of which a student can be thoroughly taught practically how a fire alarm system is installed. Starting from cabling, how the cable is routed, how the detector is fixed, how terminations are done on the detector, how from the detector the cable is connected to the panel, how the panel is working, how zoning is done, what is the need for zoning, how detectors are connected in a zone, how the cable from a zone is getting terminated into the panel, how the call points are connected, how the hooters are connected, the entire wiring, termination, connections to the panel, everything is practically taught. Also, we have a microprocessor based fire alarm, wherein the student can be thoroughly taught how an intelligent fire alarm panel works. The student can also see the various parts of the panel, understand the working of the panel, understand also the addressable detectors, how the addressable detectors are fixed, how terminations, connections are done to the addressable detectors, how the loop arrangement is done for the automatic fire alarm system, the looping connections are taught, and they are also then taught on the conventional fire alarm panel, how the panel works, what are the facilities available on the panel, what are the switches available on the panel, how the panel operates. The instructor will teach a batch of 6 or 7 students completely, perfectly narrating each area of the work practically. For example, you can see here how the students are being taught how to install the smoke detectors, how they are being taught each by practical example how the terminations on the detector is done. Similarly, they would also be taught extensively how the alarm system works. What you are seeing right now is the fire hydrant system and the sprinkler arrangement, whereby the students will be taught how the sprinklers are fixed, how the sprinkler connections are given, and how the sprinklers work by right from the beginning of installing the sprinkler to the point of operation of the sprinkler. Similarly, you can also see here now a water monitor connected with the hydrant system being operated. We have a full-fledged fire hydrant system installed at the ground, as a result of which a student can be practically taught how a fire hydrant system works. What you see right now is a fire engine, rather known technically as a fire tender. The student will be taught how a fire tender operates. For example, you can see here the students being demonstrated with the suction connection onto the fire tender, the delivery connections to the fire tender, how the hoses are connected to the fire tender, how the hose is laid, and in fact, apart from these preliminary processes, they will also involve into a fire tender drill, where 7 or 8 of them, as part of a team, as a part of a crew operating fire tender. It's a classroom arrangement where the students coming from our various branches, after their theory classes, is given a preliminary assessment of what practical exercises will be done. After receiving this preliminary coverage or this preliminary briefing, then they will go down to attend each of the practical exercises. In the area of firefighting, we teach them thoroughly how a hose drill or a fire hydrant drill is done. Right from the preliminary area of carrying the hoses, laying the hoses, connecting the hoses to the hydrant valve, laying the hose, connecting the branch pipe, and after that also conducting a fire hydrant drill. A team of participants becoming a fire crew and then demonstrating how a fire hydrant drill is conducted by a team. What you see here is the pump room where the fire hydrant system pump is installed. You can see the delivery connections from the pump which goes on to the riser. You can also see on the riser the hydrant valve and the hose reel connections, using which the participants can be taught how a fire hydrant system is installed, how the various components of the hydrant system is connected. You can also see all attached equipments with a fire hydrant system. The various types of nozzles, the various types of branch pipes, the various types of, in fact, breathing apparatus. You can also see the various types of fire extinguishers. Almost all equipments required in fire and fire protection is available at our ground. We have around 25 to 30 breathing apparatus with us, as a result of which each student can be taught effectively how a breathing apparatus is worn. He will be taught the breathing apparatus, how the various parts of breathing apparatus, and then he will be taught how to wear the breathing apparatus, and after which he will go through the smoke chamber. What you are seeing right now is the smoke chamber, using which the participants would be taught a rescue operation. The students wearing breathing apparatus would enter the bottom of the smoke chamber, which is filled up with smoke, and from the bottom chamber, inside the chamber, they will climb up to the top, and from the top they will carry a dummy of the weight of a human being and bring it down. It's in fact a typical rescue operation being taught to them in a smoke-filled chamber. What you see here right now is a tripod where you see how the entry into a confined space and the exit from a confined space is taught to the students. In other words, confined space entry is being taught through a practical demonstration. What you see here right now is the fire extinguisher drill, where they are being taught right from the beginning of how to refill a fire extinguisher. In this case, the student is being taught how a dry powder fire extinguisher is refilled, how the cartridge is fixed on to the cap, how the cap and the cartridge is then fixed onto the extinguisher. They would be taught the refilling of various types of extinguishers, as a result of which they are learning the entire process of care and maintenance of fire extinguishers. They will also be taught the pressure testing of fire extinguishers. And after learning how the extinguisher is refilled, after learning the care and maintenance of the extinguisher, you would then see that they go into the area of operating the extinguisher. That's it. You can now see each student operating the extinguisher against a live fire. While that is going on, they will be taught the various areas of how the fire spreads, how the fire has to be covered, how effectively and how fast the extinguishing has to take place. You can now see an AFFF extinguisher being operated against an oil fire. So that's where you would find that each and every participant get